Time to go inside the huddle once again, as we do every single month on MUTigers.com and the Mizzou Network, joined by the Tiger Athletic Director, Jim Sterk. And Jim, here we go, headed towards December, and we've got good news. Not sure where, but we know the Mizzou football team will be bowling this holiday season. And how proud are you of the job that Barry Odom and his staff have done, not only getting things turned around the second half this year, but overall as he's built this program in his first two seasons?
Yeah, I think it's really a great storyline where you start off 1-5 and people are questioning everything, but you saw, and I think in the locker room, they weren't that far away. They believed in what they were doing. I think the coaches had great relationship with the team and didn't lose the team. A lot of teams would tank it, and I think there's been very few that have risen to this level. I heard 13 or 14 schools in the history of the NCAA after being 1-5. So I think that's really special, and it's neat to have a reward like going to a bowl at the end of the season when they have a turnaround like that and they have success. And on a lot of fronts, we've changed the turnover margin. Our defense is better. Our offense is really scoring a lot. So it's a fun game to watch right now.
You know, Gary Pinkel used to always say that coaches have times where they need to lean on their ADs for help and support. It's not necessarily every single day, but they have those times. And, you know, as Barry and his staff have worked on this program, how have you tried to be there to help him help the program when he's had those times?
Well, coaches are the toughest on themselves, and sometimes they need protection from themselves as well, not just the outside, but they're just, they're the biggest competitors and the toughest critics on themselves, and people don't realize that probably. And I think what I try to do is, one, make it consistent, be there, win or lose, and support, and just try to reinforce what they're doing and move along and encourage them to continue to keep it going, to keep the locker room, the kids. Those are the important pieces to the puzzle, is the mentality of those 18 to 22-year-olds, and Barry and his coaches have done a great job with that.
Of course, we mentioned not quite sure where Missouri's headed this holiday season for their bowl game, but if fans know, I want in on this now, how can they get that initial information, maybe get their name on the list to get information and be in line to get tickets once we know where we're headed?
Yeah, our staff did a good job once we were bowl eligible. I think it was up in the next minute or so afterwards, but MUTigers.com, and there's options on the bowls, and people can reserve tickets, and those are held, and they can do that with a credit card or through their account with us if they're already season ticket holders. So a lot of options. I probably 6 different locations where we could be at in December. So we'll see where we end up.
MUTigers.com also has a really good explainer on that group of 6 SEC tight-end bowls that Missouri will be in contention for, and kind of how that works. So be sure to hit up the website, MUTigers.com, to answer any questions there. As long as we're talking about future football games, a couple of really exciting announcements in the last week. Future series with Kansas State and Illinois coming up in the next decade as we look ahead. And give me a little idea of your philosophy from the AD's chair on football scheduling, maybe how these games came together and how future games might come together.
So as far as we've been working on it since I've been here a year and a half, and obviously there's games scheduled out there quite a ways already that I didn't have an impact on, but as I looked at for non-conference and especially a BCS level or a Power 5 level type of opponent, that if we could, to make it regional so that the fan bases from both sides could interact and come to each other's games. And so the Kansas State game is a good one for us, and obviously Illinois is a great one. And so we both agreed and finally got the dates that worked on schedules, and we're out there a little ways, but it worked out.
Really nice to see some familiar faces coming to Faurot Field in the next few years, and also a chance for Mizzou fans, as you mentioned, to travel to some places they haven't been in a while.
Yeah, and you know, we have 8 border states, so we can go around the horn and try to schedule everyone around in all those different states. But those 2 worked out for right now, and we'll continue to try to do that in the future.
closer to home, we're all done with games at Faroe Field this season, which means the big Southside project is going to begin imminently. Can you give us an updated timeline on all the changes that fans are going to see at Memorial Stadium over the next year to year and a half?
Yeah, so a lot. But right now, you know, anyone that was expecting it to be imploded, it's not going to happen. That'll go down. It's probably not anything too visible until late February and March, where it'll go down, and that'll be a construction site. But there's a lot of work that has to be done on the road back there. We have to move the hillside back about 60 yards, so it's quite a process there. A lot of infrastructure, electrical and water and all those things to get those so that they're prepared to prepare the site to eventually start building up. So it'll be an 19-month project and be ready for August of 2019. So next year it'll be a construction zone. There won't be anyone sitting in there, but you'll be able to see progress throughout the season. So it'll be a nice view of the construction site once you're in the stadium watching the games in 18.
Now that we've got this year's basketball season underway, and we've seen both head coach Konzo Martin and Robin Pinchton's teams, what excites you so far early in the year as we are from those two basketball squads?
Both have, the season ticket base has increased, men's basketball more significantly than women's, but women's has increased and set a record in their season ticket numbers, and I think that it is going to continue to grow. Both teams are really deep. I think people should like what they see and excited about both teams' future as far as us being able to go postseason, and so it'll take a lot. There'll be twists and turns and things that happen during the season, but I think both coaches are excited about the group of guys and gals that they have, and I think the fans should be as well.
Speaking of an exciting coach, Brian Smith, head coach of the Mizzou wrestling team, top 5 as they usually are, recently had a pretty interesting home opener when they wrestled Illinois inside the Mizzou softball stadium. And what did you think of that event, and how much does that help that program, as good as it already is, that Coach Smith tries to find those unique venues, and maybe has he floated any other ideas by you in recent weeks?
I haven't got any other ideas, but we may be brothers from another mother, because I've in the past at other institutions I've taken a game to a neutral site, but then we've also played on a aircraft carrier, a basketball game. I better not tell him that one, because he might want to go to San Diego or Norfolk and be on an aircraft carrier.
He'll be rolling out the mats on the deck of the nearest aircraft carrier.
We could get it, but I think he'll think military down the road, you know. But he hasn't floated any new ones. But it was great to a great venue where softball, our new facility, really helped showcase wrestling in a unique way, and I thought it was really positive. And then going against the number 12 in the country, the atmosphere was really a great atmosphere for wrestling. The weather cooperated barely. It was a little dicey on the temperature gauge, but it stayed nice enough to be able to go outside, and I think we can possibly do something unique in the future too. We'll see what he comes up with.
You know, we've talked in previous interviews about, you know, the all-around success that the department had in your first year as athletic director. You know, as we wind down 2017, look to get into 2018, midway point of your second year, where do you want to see Mizzou athletics as a whole continue to grow and get better?
Well, since it's, you know, almost Christmas, I'll get my Christmas list out there. That I'll take 20 for 20 postseason. I'll take 100% graduation rate. And then for every Missourian in the state to either be a season ticket holder for one of our sports or a donor for one of our sports, that would be the complete my Christmas list in a great way, and Santa would be I would appreciate Santa's work there.
So you're saying the bar is high? The
bar is high. We've got a ways to go, and that's the neat thing. I think we haven't hit any kind of ceiling. I think we're last year we ended up 33rd in the country overall with our sports program, and the next step is to get top 25 and then top 15 and top 10. And so I think a place like Mizzou, the resources we have, the conference we're in, we were able to do that, and with everyone's support, we're able to continue to grow our program and represent it in the way that they would like them to. So.
Jim, I know you're busy. Appreciate your time. We'll see you again next month.
Thank you, Ben.
Jim Sterk, Mizzou Athletic Director. We'll see you again in December for our next edition of Inside the Huddle.